I'm back. So it's been about a month since I've been home and I posted that first video. Obviously, I haven't posted as many as I've wanted to since. I just wanted this video to be the first video that I posted again, just because I thought that the whole idea and the theme fit really well. But just so you know, I have other videos in the works. This time, there will be more videos coming in the future. So I've been home for just over a month now. And like everybody else, I've just been staying at home. So I decided to recreate 6 photos of me from around the world to pretend that I wasn't stuck in quarantine. So the idea, the concept that I wanted to go about doing this is I actually made all these paper cutouts, and the idea is to use depth of field perspective to make it seem like these big things are in the background. So this was the first photo we decided to do. I was 13, almost 14 in this photo. So here's the final product. Obviously we're stuck in my house, so there's no clear opening in the back. You can see my house in the background. I think the shadow in the back is pretty funny. Yeah, I think this one actually came out pretty well. Like, obviously if the house wasn't there and if the hand wasn't there, but I think in terms of accuracy, obviously I had to put on a different shirt. But overall, I was pretty happy with this one. So this was the next photo we tried to recreate. I was 15, almost 16 in this photo. This is when I did a 2-week program in Madrid. This girl and I, we had some free time one day, so we just went out and explored the city, and we ended up in this park. So this was a cool photo. Here's how it turned out. Obviously, this was not super easy to recreate. I tried using my blue pool cover to kind of stand in for the blue water of the lake. In the original photo, I was squinting pretty hard, so I tried to make the same facial expression in the recreation as well. I had the same shirt, I put on a drawstring bag, I had the same book. But when we took this recreation photo, it was like 5 in the afternoon or something, and so you can see a lot of the shadows are pretty horizontal at this point. The facial expression, I think, is pretty funny. Obviously, my brother's arm coming in from the bottom instead of from the side takes away from it a little bit, but overall it kind of worked. I'm pretty happy with that. So the next one we tried to recreate is actually the most recent photo of me. This was when I was in Bali in mid-February. They have this monkey forest, and you can walk around, and there's hundreds, if not thousands, of monkeys, and you can walk through, and there are just monkeys everywhere. But we were just sitting there, and these 2 monkeys just came and crawled up my leg, and I actually have a Snapchat video of them in the act of crawling up my leg. And I really like this one because the monkey and I are kind of looking at each other, and I remember this exact moment because the one thing they tell you is don't make eye contact with the monkeys because they take that as a sign of aggression. If you play the live photo, you can see me looking into the monkey's eyes and then immediately like turning my head away and trying not to make eye contact with it. But yeah, it's pretty cool that this photo was taken at that exact moment when we made eye contact. So before I show you how the recreation turned out, there is one big issue with the rest of the photos that I didn't think about beforehand. So the first 2 photos, these were the cutouts, so they're both pretty big. They can be held pretty far away from the camera. You can see, like, this is the monkey one I used, and it's considerably smaller. So we had to hold them a lot closer to the camera, and one thing I did not think about was depth of focus. And so for the rest of the photos, because we had to hold the cutouts so close to the camera, the cutouts are out of focus. So they don't look great, but we did the best that we could. So here's the recreation. I think it's pretty close. Obviously, since the photo was taken, what, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, I had all the same clothes, I had the same hat. I tried crossing my arm in the same way. So it's a little tricky with the blurriness, but besides that, I don't think it looks too bad. This next photo is when I was in Paris a little over a year ago. At the time, my friend Maya was living there studying, and so what we did is they have these bird scooters, and we rented scooters for like 2 hours. These electric scooters, rode them all around Paris. So I got to see most of Paris in like 2 hours just riding around on these scooters. So it was a lot of fun. This one was tough, obviously. I don't have the big open clearing. My backyard is surrounded by a lot of trees, so there isn't really anywhere where I can have a clear sky to put the Eiffel Tower. I did better than I expected, actually. I forgot that I actually had an old electric scooter when I was like 10. Obviously the Eiffel Tower itself is pretty out of focus here. And then right back in the middle, you can see my uncle just chilling in the background of my photo. I tried to take the photo in front of the bench like this because I thought the bench would kind of resemble like the ledge of the bridge. It doesn't look like that at all. It just looks like there's a bench in the back of the photo. Yeah, so this one's not great. Moving on, this photo was my very first day in Sydney. In fact, it was only a couple of hours after I got off the plane when I first got there. And yeah, and I got this really cool photo of the Sydney Harbour Bridge in the background. I actually used a self-timer for this because I was just walking around by myself. I actually put it on the ledge. You can see the shadow. These are the stairs of the Sydney Opera House. This photo was a little tough to recreate because I'm kind of standing in front of the bridge, so it's impossible to have a cutout in front of the camera but make it look like I'm in front of the little cutout. So we just kind of put me a little bit farther to the side. And so here is the photo that we got. Again, this one's not great. Like I said, it was late afternoon, so we had all these shadows going everywhere. Obviously, since it was a recent photo, I had all the same clothes. So I could recreate that part, but the bridge, it was another pretty small cutout that Chase had to hold pretty close to the camera, so it looks pretty blurry. It's in complete shadow, but the background is very sunny. Still a photo I wanted to include for the sentimental value. And then finally, my last photo here. This was my first day moving into Cornell, but this is the McGraw Clock Tower at Cornell. Obviously another sentimental picture that I wanted to include to remind me of Cornell and all my friends there. And here's the photo. Not much we could do about the blurriness. I think it looks like a good size. You can't really see his hand. I tried going on the stones in front of my house to kind of recreate that stone look, which I think worked pretty well. But it's sunny. I got a little trees in the background, but it's nothing too bad. I've got almost all the same clothes. But yeah, I actually think this one turned out pretty well. Like out of all of them, this is, considering how this went overall, this one's not too bad in my opinion. I'm pretty happy with that. So there you go, that was me recreating 6 of my favorite photos from all over the world to distract me from the fact that I'm stuck at home in quarantine. It was actually a lot of fun to do. I wish I had thought ahead more about the sizes of the cutouts and made bigger ones, so we didn't have all the issues with the depth of field and the blurring. But besides that, it was a lot of fun to make. Definitely distracted me for a little bit. Stay sane, stay safe, stay home. And like I said, I do have more videos I'm currently working on. So this time when I say stick around, I actually mean it. Holy shit, I just got up to stop the recording, and when I got up to stop the camera, I realized it wasn't recording, and so I thought either I didn't record anything or it stopped recording me halfway through, and I thought I'd lost so much. Thank God it only cut off like the last 2 sentences I was gonna say, which is super weird that it would stop recording on its own in the first place. But thank God, like, I didn't lose anything I just did except for like the last 2 sentences I said.